Well, hello. Welcome in.
Hello, sir. I would like to buy a boat.
What kind of boat are we looking at?
Actually, any kind of sailboat that just takes me across an ocean.
That sounds interesting. What's your budget?
I actually saved up for some time and I got this.
Oh, that won't take you far, son.
But why? I don't have any high expectations.
Well, here we do. And I won't even buy a little dinghy to bloody row you around the world.
But you must have something.
Absolutely not. And I got other stuff to deal with. And the door's right over there.
But how can I find a boat then?
Now that's not my problem, is it? Now get out of my shop.
Wait. We can't have it like that, can we? Someone want to buy a sailboat. They should be able to buy a sailboat, right? No matter the amount of money that they have. So in this video, I'm gonna go through the top 3 long-distance sailboats that you can buy in Sweden at the moment for up to $2,000 of value. It's gonna be a pretty small boat, naturally. I'm gonna start with number 3. It's gonna be the smallest one, which is the Havsvidra. The Havsvidra is this classic coaster-shaped double-ender 20 feet sailboat. They were starting to be made in the end of the 1960s. One of the first plastic boats that was ever made in Sweden. And these boats are just so ruggedly made. Like it's a lot of plastic. They're thick, they're rugged, more or less bulletproof plastic. So if you would hit something in the water, it could withstand a lot of damage and pressure to it because there's a lot of material. It's a double-ender, as I said, with a long full keel and a rudder attached to the whole keel, which makes it just super nice and stable in the water. The course stability is good. It moves a little bit like a small ship, you could say, with a long keel, quite heavy displacement, and just these nice round shapes of it. You can easily get one of these boats for between $1,000 and $2,000 in Sweden nowadays. They're not that many for sale, but you can usually find 1 or 2 or 3 for sale. They are usually in quite varying shape for sure, so if you're lucky, you find a boat that's been well taken care of for all these years, which has good rigging, good engine and everything for $2,000, which is just an amazing price for what you're getting. You can go sailing along the coasts, cruising for days with up to, I think, 4 people, something like that. And if you go long distance sailing, this is a perfect solo sailing boat. But you could also be 2 or maybe 3 people if you're not too fussy about space in the boat. So for long sails, it's a really nice boat. It's small, it's cozy, and you got room for more or less everything you need. Not any excessive space for stuff that you would possibly want, but you can fit everything that you need in it. And that's really what you need in a long distance sailboat, according to me. Just a lot of other stuff laying around doesn't always make much sense to have on a long distance sail. So a boat like this, where you just carefully chooses everything that you'll bring and all the essential things that you want to bring, will be very, very nice for solo sail, with plenty of room for one person, but not a lot of excessive space and stuff which you don't actually need. When it comes to sailing performance, you could totally, on a crossing, average 4.5 knots, 5 knots maybe. It's not a light wind boat at all. If you get a spinnaker with you or a gennaker, you could go okay speeds in light winds, but it doesn't have that much speed at all because it's such a short, long-keeled boat, basically. But you're gonna be moving quite steadily in a good pace across the oceans. There's plenty of Swedish long-distance sailors, mostly solo sailors, who's been sailing long distances in these boats. You got also the Storfidra, which is the big sister to the Havsfidra. It's 24 feet instead of 20 feet. But these boats are more expensive than the Havsfidra, so you can't fit them in this price category, unfortunately. But those boats are even more seaworthy and just more spacious when you're going long distance sailing, basically. Number 2 on the list. This one is a personal favorite for a lot of people out there, for good reasons. It's a nice boat, and it is the Albin Vega. Woo. Real classic, built during the 70s in Sweden. There's been a lot of boats built of the Albin Vegas, so there's a lot of boats around Sweden and around the world, and they've been sailing so far across the oceans, all around the place. You got people like Jarle Andhøy, the Norwegian dude who sailed down to Antarctica, and then later on, I think with the same Albin Vega, he sailed up to Svalbard and to Russia, and also to the North Pole, I think, which was just an amazing achievement quite many years ago. And then you got a lot of people just sailing around the world with Vegas in the nice milk run. And then you probably have the most insane sail in modern time, possibly, with Matt Rutherford sailing around the Americas single-handed in an Albin Vega, a 27 feet boat, which is not really built for ocean sailing from the start, but it gained quite a reputation. And Matt Rutherford, on really strict budget, managed to find an Albin Vega, equip it quite good, but not so the standard was super high with this boat. It was still quite rough when he left Annapolis, and then he sailed north through the Northwest Passage, down in the Pacific, around Cape Horn, up to Annapolis again, solo, non-stop. Ridiculous. And that just shows that the Albin Vega is actually a quite capable boat for crossing big oceans in rough weather, which is super impressive for a 27 feet boat. The keel form it's a long keel, but it's not a full long keel. So you got the keel starting in the front, and then quite a bit back the rudder is attached, and then the keel kind of stops, and then it's a flat bottom more or less until the back of the boat. And inside the boat, it's not that spacious actually. I've been inside a couple of Vegas, and it has about the same space as most 25-26 feet boats, I would say. It's quite narrow, and you don't have that much standing height inside, which makes it feel kind of cramped in there. So when it comes to space, I would say you could go long distance sailing 2 people as well in the Vega. 3, yeah, you could probably go 3, but I wouldn't go more than 3 people in the Vega, because that would be really tight in there. The air, the oxygen in there would end every night. But for 2 or 3 persons, the Vega is totally fine. There are quite a bit of flaws to the Vega as well. It's really low in the water, so when you're sitting in the cockpit, you're sitting really close to the water, so you're gonna get a wet ride when you're sailing long distance with the Vega, but you're also gonna get quite stable ride because of the quite long keel and just stable sailing performance of such a quite small boat, actually. Which is what you want. If you got a small boat like that, and if you're on a low budget, you don't really necessarily need to be super dry and comfortable all the time, because that's just something that won't happen all the time in such a small and cheap boat. So according to the price, the Vega is definitely one of the most affordable boats out on the market as of now. And time for the number 1. The premium spot goes to... Some of you might not take me as serious now, but I gotta give it to my boat. The JW29. It's also called Esquire, and it's built in Sweden as well, in Stockholm. About 10 to 15 boats were built in Stockholm in the 73, 74 years, something like that. It's just an insane boat. I never seen a boat in this size. It's 29 feet long, and it's built like a tank. The sides of the boat, the laminates, the plastic walls kind of, is really thick. They're like 2.5 centimeters thick each, which is quite equivalent to like really big sturdy plastic boats, like long keeled kind of ships, more or less, like 40-50 feet boats. They have 2.5 centimeters thick glass fiber, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous for such a small boat, which means that it's going to be heavy, but it's also going to be very stable and move quite calmly in the water for being such a small boat. It's 29 feet and it weighs just over 4 tons actually, even though it's a fin keel boat. It's a long fin keel though, so it's quite stable in the water. The core stability is good. Then you got a little bit of a gap, propeller, and then rudder, which gives you, compared to the other two, the long keel boats, it gives you just a more maneuverable boat with a fin keel basically, but you still got quite a long fin keel, which gives you the stability in the water. So it's a nice trade-off, I think, for a long distance sailboat. With one-off boats like this one, I would basically call this a one-off boat because there's so few made of it. And I think the reason why there's so few made is that they used so much plastic, so it was basically too expensive to build these boats to actually keep producing them for the Swedish market. But I'm super lucky because it's a one-off boat kind of, people don't really know about it, which means that the prices drops and they go down to, yeah, like $2,000 for a boat that's 29 feet. Way more roomy than the Albin Vega and the Havsvidra for sure. You could easily sail 3 people in it, long distance sailing, easily. Probably 4 as well. That's gonna be quite cramped in there, but it's spacious. It's definitely a spacious boat. If you find a boat like this, like a one-off boat, there could be other makes as well that's kind of one-off, that someone made like a project and they used so much plastic, they built it so sturdily and put so much effort into building a sturdy, nice boat. You could be lucky to find one of those on the market, and they sell for more or less nothing because people don't know about them, so they don't know if they can put in the money on this boat and rely on this boat. But if you know stuff about sailboats, you can go check it out, check every essential detail on the boat when it comes to just stability and how durable the boat would be and how well it could handle big seas and rough wind and all that. So if you go and check a boat like that and you find that it's very sturdy and very well built, you could get yourself a quite roomy, nice long distance sailboat for almost no money at all, which is the reason that it ends up on the top spot for me, because you get so much boat for such a low price. Yeah, I think that's all for today. Don't have much more to add. There's a lot of more boats in this segment that you can look at. Just go online, Craigslist, the Swedish site is called Blocket. There's so much sites to look at, and there's so much small boats to look at. You could also go to Boatyard and just check around, talk to people, see if there's some boats that's been just lying around for a couple of years where the owner probably would like to just get rid of it or sell it, which could benefit you in giving you a really cheap, good boat for long distance sailing. So small is necessarily not less safe, for sure. So if this is your budget, go for a small boat. go for something well built, something sturdy, a little bit longer keel possibly, and you're gonna be super happy with it. You could go more or less everywhere sailing in the world as long as the condition of the boat is okay. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell so you get the notifications when the next video is coming up on the tube. And I will see all you guys. What am I doing? I will see all you guys in the next video. Take care.